Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear students, I welcome all of you to the history lecture of class 9th. This is the first chapter that we are going to start today, named as the French Revolution. Dear students, the Revolution of France started on 14th July 1789 with the storming of the fortress prison, the Bastille. The Bastille fortress prison was hated by all the people of France because it stood for the despotic power of the King of France. The fortress was demolished, the commander of Bastille was killed, and the prisoners were released, though there were only 7 of them. As the days went on passing, there were more riots in Paris. The series of events in the French Revolution, started by the middle class, had shaken the upper classes. The people revolted against the cruel regime of monarchy. This revolution put forward the ideas of liberty, fraternity, and equality. Dear students, well, I know that you are not getting anything what I am saying. This is just the introduction of the chapter. In order to understand it, let's flash back to the beginning of the story. Students, in 1774, King Louis XVI of the Bourbon family ascended the throne of France. He was a weak ruler and had no foresight. He didn't take any interest in the administration. He had assigned all the administrative duties to such officers who had no concern for the welfare of the people. The wife of Louis XVI, Queen Marie Antoinette, was a beautiful and luxury-loving woman. The king was completely under her spell. She never gave any good advice to the king. Besides this, she was a spendthrift. And it was because of her spendthrift nature, the economic condition of the state deteriorated further. Now let's study about the causes of the French Revolution. The first one is social cause. French society during the late 18th century was divided into 3 estates. The first estate belonged to the clergy. It consisted the people involved in church matters. Second estate belonged to the nobility. It consisted the persons who have high rank in the state administration. The third estate comprised of big businessmen, merchants, court officials, lawyers, peasants and artisans, landless laborers and servants. The first 2 classes were exempted from paying taxes. They enjoyed privileges by birth. Nobility classes also enjoyed feudal privilege. Feudal privilege, you know? Feudal privilege is related to feudal system, which is also called as feudalism. Feudalism was the social system that existed during the Middle Ages in Europe, in which the people were given land and protection by the nobles, and in return they had to work and fight for the nobles. So, nobility classes enjoyed feudal privilege. Only the members of the third estate had to pay taxes to the state. The taxes they paid were land taxes, service taxes, teeth and tail. Direct tax was called as tail. And also there were a number of indirect taxes which were charged upon the third estate people on articles of everyday consumption like salt, tobacco, wood, etc. A tax called tithe was also collected by the church from the peasants, which was 1/10 of the agricultural produce. Students, the clergy and nobility were 10% of the population, but possessed 60% of lands. Third estate was 90% of the population, but possessed only 40% of the lands. Now, let's study the other cause of the French Revolution, that is, the economic cause. One of the economic causes of French Revolution was the subsistence crisis. Subsistence crisis means an extreme situation where the basic means of livelihood are endangered. It was that condition when the population of France rose from about 23 million in 1715 to 28 million in 1789. This increased the demand for the food grains. However, production could not keep pace with the demand, which ultimately increased the prices of the food grains. Most workers work as laborers in the workshops, and they didn't see increase in their wages. Situation became worse whenever drought or hail reduced the harvest. This led to the scarcity of food grains or subsistence crisis, which started occurring frequently during old regime. The second economic cause was that when Louis XVI came into the power in 1774, he found the royal treasury empty because of the long years of war fought by his predecessors had drained the financial resources of France. The third economic cause was that under King Louis XVI, France helped the 13 American colonies to gain their independence from the common enemy, Britain, which had risen France to a debt of more than 2 billion livres. The fourth economic cause was due to the spendthrift habit of the king and the queen. The French government reached to a state of bankruptcy. After the economic cause, let's study the political cause of the French Revolution. The French monarchs of Bourbon dynasty engaged themselves in luxurious and extravagance at the royal court of Versailles. They enjoyed unlimited power and were autocratic monarchs. They paid no attention towards their subjects. The ministers of the kings were actually incompetent and were interested in fulfilling their pockets with royal treasury. Now, dear students, let's study another topic of the chapter, that is the growing middle class. Students, the 18th century France witnessed the emergence of social groups termed the middle class, who earned their wealth through overseas trade, from manufacturing of goods and professions. This was the educated class of the society, and they believed that no group in the society should be privileged by birth. They were inspired by the ideas put forward by the various philosophers. Some of the philosophers who belonged from the middle class and their contribution in revolution are John Locke. He had written a book named Two Treatises of Government, in which he criticized the doctrine of the divine and absolute right of the monarch. Jean-Jacques Rousseau. He had written a book named Social Contract, in which he proposed a form of government based on a social contract between people and their representatives. Montesquieu. He had written a book named The Spirit of the Laws, in which he proposed a division of power within the government between the legislative, the executive, and the judiciary. Now let's study a very important topic of the chapter, that is the outbreak of the French Revolution. As the royal treasury was getting empty, so Louis XVI called an assembly of the Estates General to pass his proposals to increase taxes on 5th May 1789. The first and the second estates sent 300 representatives each, who were seated in rows facing each other on two sides, while the 600 members of the third estate had to stand at the back. The third estate was represented by its more prosperous and educated members only, while peasants, artisans, and women were not allowed to enter into the assembly. Voting in the Estate General in the past had been conducted according to the principle that each estate had one vote, and same practice to be continued this time. But members of the Third Estate demanded individual voting right, where each member would have one vote. After rejection of this proposal by the king, members of the Third Estate boycotted the Estates General and walked out of the assembly in protest. On 20th June, the representatives of the Third Estate assembled in the hall of an indoor tennis court in the grounds of Versailles, where they declared themselves a national assembly and vowed to draft a constitution for France that would limit the powers of the monarch. While the National Assembly was busy at Versailles drafting a constitution, the rest of France was in trouble. Severe winter destroyed the food crops, which resulted in increase in the prices. The bakers also hoarded supplies of breads for making greater profit. After spending long hours in queues at the bakery, crowds of angry women stormed into the shops. At the same time, the king ordered troops to move into Paris to control the situation. On 14 July, due to the instability in the city, rumors were spread that King Louis XVI had commanded the troops to move into the Paris city and open fire upon the citizens. The agitated 7,000 men and women gathered and formed revolutionary groups. They stormed into the fortress prison Bastille and destroyed it. In the countryside, rumors spread from the village to village that the lords of the manor were on their way to destroy the ripe crops through their hired gangs. Due to fear, peasants in several districts attacked the castles of nobles, looted hoarded grain, and burned down documents containing records of manorial dues. Large numbers of nobles fled from their homes and many migrated to neighboring countries. Louis XVI finally recognized the National Assembly and accepted the Constitution. On 4th August 1789, France passed the law for abolishing the feudal system of obligations and taxes. The members of clergy were also forced to give up their privileges. Tithes were abolished and lands owned by the church were confiscated. Dear students, now let's study how France becomes a constitutional monarchy. The National Assembly completed the draft of the Constitution in 1791, in which main object was to limit the powers of the monarch. The powers were now separated and assigned to different institutions: the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary, which made France a constitutional monarchy. The Constitution of 1791 gave the power of making laws in the hands of National Assembly, which was indirectly elected. The National Assembly was elected by a group of electors, which were chosen by active citizens. Active citizens comprises of only men about 25 years of age who paid taxes equal to at least 3 days of a laborer's wage. The remaining men and all women were regarded as passive citizens who had no voting rights. Now let's study the Constitution of France at that time. The Constitution began with the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen. Rights such as the right to life, freedom of speech, freedom of opinion, equality before law, were given to each human being by birth and could not be taken away. It was the duty of the state to protect each citizen's natural rights. I think this is enough for today. We will continue the other part of the chapter in the next video. Fi amanillah.